Welcome to Quantum Creators. You are the director of your reality, so why not make it a masterpiece? Hi, I'm Kimberly.
And I'm Kelly.
Tonight's episode is for anyone standing in the middle of a life that technically works, but doesn't quite fit. You ever felt like that?
Oh, definitely.
Me too.
So tonight we're going to cover that.
Mm-hmm.
So if you've ever whispered something's off, but I can't name it, you're in the right place.
I have felt like that before.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot, kind of. Yeah. Let me tell you about Miles. Not a real name, that's not his real name, but real just the same. 41, married, steady career on paper. He'd done everything right, but every morning he'd sit in his car for 6 extra minutes, key in the ignition, heart somewhere else.
That 6 extra minutes should tell you something.
Yeah, if you add that up over a bunch of days.
A lot of minutes. He said it wasn't that he hated his life, he just didn't recognize himself in it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
He couldn't remember the last time he laughed so hard his chest ached, or felt proud just because.
That's something about that. You have to laugh.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely have to laugh. He told us, I'm living the life that made sense to everyone but me. What if the life you're trying to fix was never yours to begin with? That's a profound question.
That happens to a lot of us.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that question, it isn't meant to break you at all. It's meant to free you.
Mm-hmm.
Because how can you edit a script you didn't even write?
Well, most of us haven't written our scripts. Somebody else has written it from the time that we were born. So
Absolutely.
We're spending our whole life trying to rewrite it.
Yep.
Miles didn't need a reinvention. He needed a realignment. So we started small, and here's where your part begins too.
So we've got a little bit of homework for you. So for the next 3 days, don't change a thing.
No.
Just notice. What things make you feel alive? Is it the way your coffee tastes, when the house is still quiet in the morning?
Mm-hmm.
Is it singing in the car when no one's around? Is it singing in the shower? Is it walking barefoot through the grass or dancing while you fold laundry, or laughing with someone who sees the real you?
Just laughing in general.
Right.
I
It
think
makes a big difference.
Most of us don't on a daily basis.
Don't do that.
Yeah. Notice the opposite too now. What dims you? What conversations leave you hollow or drained? What routines feel like cages? When do your shoulders lift like armor, and when do they soften?
And then on day 4, we're going to add something honest. Miles went to a hardware store and bought some wood. He didn't even know what he was making.
Wood.
He just wanted to feel something real again. That hour sanding wood, that was his doorway.
I like that.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe he's going to make some furniture.
Yeah. With a piece of wood, yeah.
Maybe. Well, maybe. Your doorway might be different. It might be color, music, cooking without a recipe, speaking your mind, which some of us need to do that, wearing what you want to, no matter what it looks like. It doesn't matter what it is. It only matters that it's yours.
Absolutely. Sometimes the blueprint isn't about doing more. It's about undoing what was never yours to carry in the first place.
So it's like activating yourself, basically. Finding the things that activate you, that make you feel alive.
Yeah.
So this is about remembering, about reclaiming the small spark that led you back to your design.
Yep.
Do you like that?
I do.
So this week, walk through your life with a sacred curiosity. Like, be interesting. Like, start with what lights you up. Interrupt what dims you. Add one thing that feels like home. That's your first blueprint line.
I would have to say one of the things for me is during the winter months, we're coming into the summer months now, but during the winter months, I love being cozy, like getting under a blanket, or even in the morning having a warm cup of coffee, just looking out the window, because there's a difference in the way it looks outside.
Yes.
When it's cold outside and the sun's coming up. I know you like the sunrise.
I love sunrise. Yes.
That's something that just, I feel it on the inside.
Well, I think sometimes, and I think you had a little experience with this week, but sometimes you don't even know what sparks you until it sparks you,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and then you go, oh my gosh, I didn't even know that
was a thing.
that was a thing, that I
Yeah.
would like that. Like, for me, I love getting on stage, like runway modeling, anything like that. If I'm on the stage, it
feel high.
makes me feel alive, and time just goes by, and I feel like I'm in this flow state
Yes.
where there is no time. There's just no time. You're just enjoying life. So why don't we talk about what happened to you this week? This is fun.
Yeah. So.
And it has nothing to do with guns.
or road rage or anything like that.
No, this is something actually kind of off the cuff.
Yeah. Well, so this weekend I had a girlfriend of mine, invite me to. It was a country line dancing.
And
yeah, and so there was like karaoke, dancing, mechanical bull riding, that kind of stuff. I forgot to tell you we got a mechanical bull.
Oh my gosh. that was interesting.
That was fun. That was so much fun. But so we got out there and did the line dancing.
Yep.
And I enjoy any kind of dancing. I enjoy hip hop. I enjoy, country line dancing. I enjoy, learning how to crip walk,
Crip walk. Is that like a moon dance? Is that like the
That's a little
Michael Jackson?
urban.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know.
But so getting out there, and I just, I knew I was like enjoying myself, but then during one of the what would you call it, break in the sessions where they were teaching us, a guy came up and asked me to dance. And so I just immediately, I was like, yes, and so I told him, I went out there letting him know, I don't know what I'm doing, I'm.
That's always the best part.
Yeah. I was like, I've never done this before. And his instruction, all he gave me was just stay loose. And I was like, okay, I can do that. Like I've danced enough where I know what that means. Like I can do that. And after we went through a few awkward, like, kind of movements and, things like that, I was like, what, I don't know which way to go. He's like, go that way.
And a little dip here,
Yes.
and a little dip there.
After we started getting it, I was like, okay, I know it's coming, and the spins and all that kind of stuff. He would throw me back. My feet came off the ground. I didn't even know I could do a back bend like that anymore. My hair was flipping back and then flipping back up and spinning, and by the end of it, I was just like, oh, the song's over? Man, I would love to keep going, but it was so exhilarating for me.
So maybe she's supposed to dance or be a dancer.
Yeah,
or maybe
I was like,
you should investigate that, right?
I should.
Because that's what
and
we're
keep
talking
doing it.
about. Because if it sparks you, then there's a reason for it. And
Yeah.
maybe that's part that you, maybe as a child or as a young girl, you wanted to dance and then things didn't happen or whatever, and so you hid it from yourself, and now it's like ding ding ding.
It's coming back to the surface.
Coming back to the surface.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. So that was so exhilarating. I left there high as a kite, natural high, of course.
Yeah.
But it was an amazing experience. So yeah.
And so that's why this week, even doing something different, we've talked about this before, like driving a different way to work,
Yes.
going.
Don't do the same
Don't do
routine.
the same thing.
Yes.
Don't dress the same way. I would really, I don't know if I want to say dare, but I would dare you to wear something out of the box. A color maybe that you wouldn't normally wear. If you don't normally wear necklaces, wear a couple.
Yeah.
Layer it.
That's one thing I love about you is you are not afraid to get in your closet and layer things and put things together that maybe some people would be like, oh, I don't know that I would put those patterns together. I would do.
Yes.
But the way you wear it and the way it comes together, it works.
I call it frequency. I do.
Yeah.
It's like, especially in the morning, some mornings you get up and you're like, you're not really feeling the day yet.
No
And
inspiration just yet.
Even after a cup of coffee. And so I'm like, I'm going to have some color. So I'll go in there and I'll do my dopamine dressing and stuff like that.
Oh, I
But
love that.
the
Dopamine dressing. Okay.
Well, pull your flowers over here because it's like that.
Yes.
That is like,
I got a trick or treat is showing.
all right, that is like dopamine dressing right there. it's putting all these different
Ooh.
colors together.
But they work.
But it works. You could do
It's
light, yeah.
so lively.
it.
I mean, it's beautiful all together.
And people notice, it's not necessarily that they notice you, but they notice the pattern that you're wearing. And a lot of times, what I will do, especially if I have a big meeting, is I make sure that I wear those colors that are going to shift the room before I say a word. It's just like I walk in and my clothes have the frequency and the energy of what I'm trying to deliver before I have to say anything.
Well, and I think it shifts your.
Oh, it does.
It
Oh,
shifts
no,
you
for
first.
sure.
It gives you
Absolutely.
more confidence, and
Mhm.
you walk in there.
Yeah.
I know we talked about last week. I wore a blazer and short suit.
Yeah, the
thing.
pink, but it was pink.
It was like
It
a
was
hot
like,
pink.
oh, you know, we don't have hot
It
pink
might
here.
have been a little. It was a
Yeah.
little bit more pink than that
Yeah.
fuchsia there, but it was one of those. And I wore, a sleeve like coming out. I had rolled up the sleeves
Yeah.
and had one coming out, and then it showed up here. And I actually only had my bra on underneath
Oh.
it, but I kept my blazer buttoned so
Right.
that it looked like a top. You
yeah.
know.
Yeah.
And so I had actually worn that for an audition because I was playing a power role
Okay.
in the audition, and I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna wear this to work tomorrow. I was like, I think it's really cute. I like the way I feel.
It is about the way you feel.
I could tell a
in it.
difference
Yes.
in how I felt in that
Absolutely.
outfit, that I was
Absolutely.
like, I'm gonna wear this tomorrow. And I wore it, and I remember getting out of the car going into work, and I thought, I might look a little silly to myself because it's not something I'm used to wearing.
Right.
But everybody else was like, "Oh, you look cute. Oh, I love
Exactly.
your outfit today." And I was just like, "Oh, well, thank you."
And people don't really think about that a lot. I love to do patterns because
Mhm.
patterns add texture. Whether it's just like a piece of jewelry that's thick,
Mhm.
and it's got edges where it shines. Of course, I love anything that's shiny.
Sparkly.
It's sparkly.
Mhm.
But it's just layering those pieces because it almost becomes like a song. Like they're
Mhm.
playing against each other or with each other. So it's like,
Because you notice contrast
mm-hmm.
is what is really, because just like you were talking about, even like with these two
Yes.
pieces right here,
Yeah.
they are a huge contrast, but they work so well together.
They do. And then even with this green,
Mm-hmm.
see, that green could go with anything that's in there, but most people would never wear that color green.
Yeah.
Some people wouldn't. Now I would.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'd wear almost any color.
Yeah. Well, you've got a great hair color that would go with all of these bright,
Yes.
colors too. So
Yeah, I mean, and then there is a color palette, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. It matters how it makes you feel. And that matters because that's how you're going to enter a room and how you're going to engage with your coworkers, your family, business partners, and anything of that nature. So it really is an important thing. I will say that
Mhm.
for sure.
Yes, it is.
Mhm.
Because you know how it feels too when you've got clothes that maybe you've worn them for a long time and
Yeah.
they're starting to look kind of worn, and it's like you can tell even your attitude, your personality is kind of like, meh, I don't like what I'm wearing, like it makes you feel ho-hum.
Yeah.
And that's how you approach the day, of just kind of like, meh, who wants to live the day like that? I want inspired action. I want adventure. I want
But there's no
excitement.
rules, and there's no rules to it. You know what I
Right.
mean?
True.
Do the accessories. I mean, even
Mhm.
if you don't have money to go out and buy clothes, go to the thrift store and get different layers of jewelry. Do something like this one that's longer,
Yeah.
something that's shorter, or belts,
Mm-hmm.
a scarf, a hat.
Yep.
I mean, all of those things. A vest.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yep.
could use a
Those
vest a couple
layers,
different ways. Yeah.
some reason it just makes it look more rich
Yeah.
because you've got texture and pattern instead of just flat.
It's interesting.
It is.
And
It is interesting.
People
That's good.
look, and so sometimes you think people are looking because they're like,
What are you
did
wearing?
she look in the mirror this morning before she left? Because maybe she should have.
Mhm.
But it's not about that. They're looking at it because they're like, maybe I would want to dress that way. So you have to think about that, because I know a lot of times especially when I wear some things that are
A little bold.
little bold and outside the box, people will stare, and then the ones that are brave enough will ask me, hey, well, where did you get that? Let me see. How did you put that together? Because I really like that, but I probably wouldn't know how to do that myself.
Mm-hmm.
Is all you do is just try. I mean,
Yep.
you got to just start someplace and try.
I think sometimes we just automatically think that the other person is putting down what we're wearing.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But they're really
Instead-
just interested.
Right. They're
Yeah.
interested, yes.
Mhm.
Or, like you said, they're not brave enough to do that as well. But guess what? You're brave enough because then you're going to get the
Right.
job, you're going to get the client, you're going to get the money, you're going to get what it is you're going after, because that confidence comes with that.
Well, it does, actually, because when we've talked about embodiment and embodying the person that you want to become.
Yeah.
The thing is that you're already that person.
It's just that's helping you get
Well,
there.
you just
Yeah.
haven't
Allowed
allowed yourself.
yourself.
Ah! Jinx on you! Jinx on you! Yeah, you haven't allowed yourself to go there.
Yep.
And why are you waiting for permission? You don't need to wait for permission.
Because that means you're giving your power to somebody
That's
else.
that was my next thing I was going to say. Don't give your power away. I mean, that's the thing. We don't really even know how much power we have. Our clothes, just by dressing, gives us power.
Yeah.
But if we really used our whole body and our mind, right, and projected all of that out,
Yeah.
I mean, watch out, people.
Sky is the limit.
Sky is the limit. You need to
So-
move out of my way.
Yeah, we're busting out of the limitations that we're putting on ourselves. That's what we were talking
Yeah.
about with Miles. It's,
Yeah.
you know, he got into this routine, he got into this rut of doing the same thing every day. That's one of the things you were talking about.
Yeah.
Just change something of go a different way at work. You know, stop and get Starbucks, you know, before you go to work, or
Or plan something.
Mhm.
So his day was so routine
mm-hmm.
that he had not allowed time to
Have fun.
adventure or
Yeah.
do anything. So, you know, the first thing I'm like, okay, well, we need to think about something that makes you feel alive that we can go ahead and plan on you doing. Like if
Mhm.
it was a trip or something like that, like we go ahead and we're going to purchase the ticket to wherever we're going, because that is you saying, I'm allowing myself to go on this adventure,
Yeah.
right? Life was
You're
never meant,
planning for it.
it wasn't meant to be boring. It wasn't meant
Amen.
for you to feel like your life is nothing, if that makes
Mhm.
sense. But so just start little. I mean, because you
Just
don't
make
want to
little
overwhelm
changes.
yourself.
Right. And that's what we were talking about, you know, just for the first week. Like, just notice
Yeah. Yes.
what you're doing.
Okay, I'm gonna say right here.
Okay.
Become the observer.
Mm-hmm.
So you have no emotions. You're just observing other
Your
people
behavior.
and how does this person make me feel? I mean, when I interact with them, do I feel down? Do they bring me up? I mean, what kind of energy is going on here?
Mhm.
When you walk into your office, what do you feel? What is the energy high? Is it low? If it's not where you want it to be, change things around. Bring some of these beautiful flowers in. Bring
Yep.
something in, small changes that start to change you, because
Mhm.
a lot of he was in his subconscious level. He'd get in his vehicle, he would drive to work
He was on
and
autopilot.
autopilot the whole
Mhm.
time. So
Yep.
I mean, you have to be present. You have to be in the present moment to be able to enjoy yourself.
Yep.
But the other thing is just laughing. I know my husband and I have this banter. A lot of people would not understand our banter. I'm just going to tell you. I mean, because they just wouldn't. But it makes us laugh.
Yeah,
Like, I
yeah.
would say to him, like, he'll say something smart, like, you know, and I'll go, I'm not even going to say what I'd say.
Oh.
It's not that bad. I'm just be like, shut your face.
Yeah.
And he would be like, no, you shut your face. And then, but it's funny to us.
You're right.
But other
It's
people.
a thing between you guys.
It's us. And
Yeah,
I
because
mean-
you understand it.
Well, we're very witty, and so we give it back to each other. And so I got him last night, though. He was dying laughing. I said, see, there's nothing else you can say to that comment. And he couldn't. But the thing that I noticed was that we were laughing like that belly laugh.
I love that y'all were laughing together.
Yes.
You know,
Mhm.
that warms my heart.
But those are the little things.
Yes, because couples should laugh together, play together. Like that's what keeps you together
It is. what
and
keeps
on
you
the same
together.
page.
Exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
that's awesome.
So, but take time for yourself, because even if you have a family, I mean, you still are an individual person, and you need to make sure that you're filling yourself up in order to give back to your family. So you deserve to be happy with yourself and with, you know, the things that you would like to do too. I mean, obviously you can invite your family and stuff like that, but you need to go on that journey. It's an inner journey for yourself. Yes. Because once you do that, then you're going to know what are the things that make me feel alive. Because, you know, a lot of people, when I ask them that, they go, I don't know.
Oh, yikes.
In our one-on-one sessions,
Yeah.
the majority of the people will say, I don't know. And the second question I ask them is, what are your dreams? What do you dream about? They go, I don't
have
dream
dreams
anymore.
Yeah.
I stopped dreaming a long time ago. Well, why do people stop dreaming?
Yeah.
I mean, it's the adventure of life, right?
Yeah, we perish when we don't have a vision, when we don't have something to live for, go after. You know, living for, I don't think it's, you know, for your family or for your children and stuff like that. Like you were talking about, you yourself as a person have to have those adventures, have to have that inner knowing of what your purpose is and why you're here, not just to serve your family. Now that's great that you do serve your family, you know, if you're a mom or a wife, you know, that kind of thing, but you have to have your own thing as well.
And you have to have your downtime. Like, you have to have enough, listen to your body, because your body's going to tell you when. I mean, if you feel like you need a vacation from your life, then that's telling you something. Take the day and, you know, go sit out in the sun, go walk barefoot in the grass, or take a hike, you know, go shopping. Just do the things that you enjoy doing that will fill you up again. So then, you know, the next day is going to be a better day than, you know, the day before, and each day is better. I know for myself, I get up every morning, and I'm going to call it this, and it's kind of weird, but I have, like, I call it my daily scroll, where I've got my affirmations, I've got things from my work. So they're positive gratitude affirmations that I say.
They get you kick-started.
They get me started. And I set my intention for the day. And the first thing I do is I ask myself, okay, what's on today's agenda? What are the things I'm doing today? And what do I need to project? So, and when I say project, I mean project with my personality, with the clothing that I'm wearing. And then from there, I just start putting pieces together. And I never know what it's going to be. I don't. And I mean, I wouldn't say I dress the same all the time.
No. I don't know
Always
that
different.
I see you wear the same thing ever twice.
Well, I don't like to wear the same thing twice. That's
No,
what
because you're a queen.
I know. My husband's like, oh my gosh, please don't say that. But I've learned to mix and match them. And so then that makes them
It makes it
more
look like you
interesting.
have an endless wardrobe.
Yes. And I want to be interesting.
Yeah.
There was this book one time, and it's called Being Interesting. And it just intrigued me, the name of it.
Yeah.
And it would talk about, like, if you're in a restaurant, like listening to the conversation, you know, that's next to you. And so a couple of times I've been with my sister, and I'll get really quiet, and she'll go, are you being interesting? And I was like, yes, I'm trying to hear what they're trying to say. I want to know what they're saying.
Like, shh, be quiet.
Yeah.
And listen to them.
So be interesting with the clothes that you wear. Why not? I mean, put something on that's interesting that would make somebody go, I like that, you know?
And it's inspiring.
Yeah,
you don't
it's
realize how
inspiring.
inspiring it is to somebody else
For
when
sure.
you do that. I guarantee they go home and they're like, how can I do that?
I know. And I always talk about clothes because I know how it makes me feel.
That's one of your things.
It is one of my things.
Yeah.
It's definitely one of my things. And I feel like, you know, I know for me, it sets the tone of my day. So if I can go into work and I feel good about what I have on, then, like when you wore the pink, your day went good.
It went
Did it not?
really
It went
good.
really
Yes,
yeah.
there were some crazy things that happened, and I stayed in that neutral, what you
in
talk
that
about.
neutral zone.
I was actually really proud of myself because I was like, wow, I didn't allow the incidents and stuff to even like make my heart start racing and, you know, oh gosh, you know, like that kind of thing. I just stayed like very neutral. and it was amazing.
And it does, because your power comes through that you don't even know you have.
So I hung on to my power
It's your
instead of giving
power.
it away.
You didn't give it to, so that customer, you did not give it to that customer.
Wow,
Yeah, so you did not
love that.
love that. I'm sorry, but we are in the middle of filming. You're going to have to leave a message.
You're gonna have to call back later.
Later.
Well, this is probably a good place for us to
It
close
is.
out
So,
for the day. So.
so thank you for joining us here on Quantum Creators, where we believe that you are the director of your reality, so why not make it a masterpiece? So follow us on
Instagram and YouTube. We've got our full videos on YouTube. Some pieces of them are on Instagram,
Yeah.
but we do post the link to the YouTube so that you can watch the entirety of this video. So.
and shortly we will have it up on TikTok. So I'm working on the TikTok, so we'll have it up on there. But it was great seeing you, and we do our one-on-one coaching. If you're interested, you can DM us. But for now, don't forget, what are they doing? What's their homework assignment?
Homework is to observe the first week, then the second week is to just bring in something, a little something.
I think it was the first 3 days. First 3 days.
First 3 days, sorry.
First
A week
3
might be a
days.
little
Yeah,
long.
I was gonna say that's long.
Okay.
First
3
3 days they observe, right?
Yes.
And then the fourth day they add something.
Thing to it, like going to get a piece of wood and just kidding.
Making some
That's
furniture.
what Miles
Just
did.
make some furniture.
You do something that suits you, even if it's just getting flowers and like you said,
Yeah.
we were talking about changing your clothes up a little bit.
Yep.
So.
Or even your lipstick.
Yeah,
That's easy too.
That is. That's so
Just change
easy.
your lipstick.
Yeah.
All right. So it was great having you here tonight, and we'll see you next time. I'm Kimberly.
And I'm Kelly. We'll see you next week.
See you next week.